The 2003 European Eventing Championships were hosted by Ireland, the birthplace of so many famous sport horses. And Punchestown, the steeplechase racecourse southwest of Dublin, was again the venue for the 4 days of competition. 8 nations took part in the team event, with 60 riders in all vying for individual honours. Defending their team title was Great Britain, successful 2 years earlier in Pau, France, and once again they were the favourites, as too was the defending individual champion, Pippa Funnell, who had swept all before her in 2003, winning the 3 major 4-star events, and with it the $250,000 Rolex Grand Slam title. In the expert commentator's chair beside me, I'm delighted to welcome the BBC's voice for questionism, Mike Tucker. And the first we see in the dressage phase is Susanna Bordone, team member for Italy, riding the 11-year-old bay mare Ava, formerly ridden by Stuart Tinney of Australia. And they set the standard on the first day of dressage.
And this mare was much admired in the World Equestrian Games when ridden by Stuart nearly a year ago. And Susanna went down to Australia, brought her over winter. And they've gone on from there. Beautifully relaxed, lovely temperament, very accurate test. Susanna trained by David Green, the Australian based down in Wiltshire in England. And they really have built a very good partnership. The half pass to the right. And then the circle, away onto the other rein. And again, very accurate, keeping the same shape. And a lovely change of paces, which got her the very good marks from the grand jury, headed by the president, Angela Tucker, and then Christoph Hess from Germany and David Lee from Ireland. And that'll get good marks, nearly square, could well be square from a direct angle behind.
And Susanna Bordone led after the first day with a score of 33.6. Well, the crowds certainly swelled on the Friday to see Pippa Funnell's dressage test. Pippa, the reigning individual champion, and she was riding the 10-year-old walk-on star. Pippa, the 3rd team member for Great Britain.
Homebred by the owners, Nick and Barbara Walkinshaw. This horse's biggest test so far. It's been a good winner for Pippa, but this would be her 4th string within her stable, and so it's a big test. But as all horses from the Pippa Funnell stable are, like peas out of a pod, they're supple, they're balanced, full of rhythm, and Pippa, of course, rides them beautifully, accurately. Canter. Exactly the right bend on the leading leg, a super flying change. Clear, concise, and right on the mark. And what is so noticeable with Pippa these days, with particularly the last month she's had, her temperament is absolutely perfect.
And I spoke to her afterwards, and she was absolutely delighted with that score of 34.6. We'll see it in a minute on the scoreboard. 3 judges, and there it is, 34.6. To put her into 2nd place, but 2 horses later came the young team debutante for the French, 23-year-old Nicolas Touzin, and the grey Selle Francais-bred Galin de Sauvagère. This horse just 9 years old, but they were about to make a big impression.
Well, they had competed in Punchestown in the spring of 2002 when they won the 3-day event, a level below this, and that wouldn't have got quite perfect marks, not all square, but nicely into the reverse movement. Very good position of Nicolas Touzin, and the horse again bent correctly the right way for this shoulder in. And it's a big horse. It stands 178 centimeters, but for a big horse, it's very light on its feet and very supple. Christoph Hess, the pure international dressage judge, who also very interested in the world of eventing, And he's given Nicholas 3 10s out of 10 already. The percentage marks attainable here are going to be high from Christoph Hess. Again, a very good change of pace, easy to see, keeps the rhythm and keeps the shape and the outline of the horse. Interestingly enough, Pippa Funnell and Nicholas Touzan had a tremendous battle at Saumur in May of this year, when Pippa Funnell got the better of Nicholas, but one wonders today whether that'll be the case. Counter, bending and leading on the outside leg, and then the flying change. Well executed, again, good marks there for certain. Bold, beautifully executed test, this. And there's a lot of experts here. There in the top right-hand corner with the silver hair, Eric Letter, former chairman of the Pure Discipline, watching this dressage phase.
Well, that test of Nicolas Touzan, 29.8, puts him into the lead as we see Linda Algotsson for Sweden. On Stand By Me, 13-year-old gelding.
Well, Paula Tornquist has now retired, and this lady, Linda Algotsson, one of two very talented sisters, Linda and Sarah, might well pick up the mantle of the leading rider for Sweden. Very experienced horse, and under Jon Jonsson, one of the world's renowned eventing trainers, Sweden are always a threat. And what's more, they're all on Swedish-bred horses. Their breeding program being brought right up to world standards these days. And here's another test, very pleasing to the eye. There really isn't a lot you can fault. Perhaps lacking the sparkle that we saw from the lovely grey of Nicolas Touzan.
And that score of 37.6 put Linda Algotsson into 7th place, as we now pick up Karen Donkers, riding for Belgium, and the 12-year-old Gormley.
Karen, the leading Belgian rider for a number of seasons, a horse that went very well to finish 3rd in Saumur, and comes back to its homeland, bred in Ireland, brought out by Jane O'Flynn. And there is a very good halt, absolutely square. That'll get, I would have thought, 8 or 9 from the 3 judges. That'll score pretty highly too in that movement. Belgium, who won a bronze medal in the Le Moulin European Championships of 1999. Karen, who first came to prominence actually in the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. She's been right on the edge of a big competition for a while now.
Well, could this be the one? Score of 35.6 after the dressage, as we now see the 14-year-old Ringwood Cockatoo and Bettina Hoy, the leading hope for the Germans.
Owned by Frederick Davidson, and of course Bettina, a former European champion herself, 1997, when she actually finished 2nd to Mark Todd in the Burley competition, but she was the leading European. Watermill Stream was the horse she rode that year, and this horse is potentially able to repeat that for Bettina, but he is also quite capable of throwing in an odd mistake, but not in this phase. Bettina, at her very, very best, she herself would be quite capable of riding the pure dressage discipline. She is that good a technician. Again, the right bend. Here comes the flying change. And again, right on the button. Everyone expects Bettina to come up with a good test these days, and she doesn't often disappoint, which is exactly the case here in Punchestown. Very good test indeed, and that might challenge them all.
Well, it certainly pleased her supporters. A score of 32 dead to put her into 2nd place behind Nicolas Touzan, with Susanna Bordone in third and Pippa Fundle well placed in fourth. And in the team competition, Great Britain had a narrow lead over the French, and the experts felt 20 marks covered the first 6 teams. Well, there was water everywhere on Tommy Brennan's cross-country course, with no less than 5 complexes involving horses jumping into or galloping through water. The course also reflected local Irish history and tradition, with the fences being imaginatively finished and in some places lavishly decorated. The Endurance Day starts with Phase A, 4,400 metres of roads and tracks, followed by an 8-fence steeplechase course to be run inside 3 minutes 30 seconds. Then it's on to more roads and tracks, 6,080 metres, before Phase D, the cross-country. A minimum of 40 jumping efforts over 6,035 metres, with a time allowed 10 minutes 35 seconds. To take you through the action, Mike Tucker.
So the first we see the first rider for Great Britain, Leslie Law, while the first rider for Ireland, the very experienced Susan Short. With Just Beauty Queen, a horse that went very well in the World Equestrian Games last year. Well, the next for Leslie Law is the very big New Grange Bank, and then the Book of Kells comes very early on the course. Fence 4 and 5, and Leslie Law already getting into a good rhythm with Sheerlow, as we now see Sue Short and Just Beauty Queen onto the famous racing bank of Punchestown, the double bank. Well, this is the Sally Gap, been a great feature here for a long time, but this is the first taste of water. 7 fences have water in actually, but 4 of them the riders go through. Well, this is the Euro fence. It's been riding very long, but Susan Short attacks it well with Just Beauty Queen. Susanna Bordone for Italy brings Ava into the box. This is the first time we've had a chance to see her ride this mare across country. Was a joy to behold in Spain last year. Well, this is fence 13, just before halfway, the River Rock Falls water. And now Jean-Luc Force for France, the first of the French team, very experienced. Leslie Law now at the Euro, and he rides for his life through there. He's giving Britain a good start. Going into the Kirkham's tree, jumps the corner, jumps it easily. While Ava and Susanna Bordone at the Burr telescope, quite a big drop here. Perhaps not going that quickly, as we see now Just Beauty Queen at the O2 fence. Those 3 elements at fence 14 on the course. The young rider for Italy, Susanna Bordone. Oh, and that horse beautifully across. Really shows exactly how a racing bank should be done. And now comes to the Waterford Crystal fence, very narrow, over a big ditch where she jumps it. Sue Short pops up that double bounce, turns right-handed, and now comes down over the Powers Court waterfall. Fascinating fence this. Plenty for the horse to be looking at. As Anna Hasse's son of a bitch comes up the New Grange and falls up the New Grange. The horse seemed to hesitate. Anna Hasse, who's made a brilliant recovery after a fall at Babins, to be here, but she just rolls off. That's 1-4 for Sweden, and here comes another. Team Rider 2, Magnus Galladal, falling in the River Rock Falls. Leslie Law still clear as he's approaching the halfway point on the course. This, the O2 fence. Looking quite easy and looks good on the clock too, I might add. Susan Short, about 500 metres from home, is over the Emirates Sand Dunes, and now coming to this last water complex, which has caused a lot of discussion. Several routes, the direct route through a tunnel, over a waterfall, then 2 strides. 3, in fact, more than 2 strides, up the bank, and then a bounce over the middle and back into it again. There's a lot that could go wrong there, but not for Susan Short. Leslie Law, meanwhile, down the Punchestown waterfall, and there's quite a lot of growling going on there from Leslie. The horse never looks easy to ride, but having said that, they're a very good, consistent partnership. And Britain would love a clear round from Leslie to start their team challenge off. Coming to the Land Rover fence, big fence this, launches himself right out into the water. Well, Stephanie Thompson, a young girl very well known in Britain, born there, but she just runs across the top of the Kirkham's corner there and unseats Stephanie. So that's 65 for Germany. Shearlow at the Coolmore bounce now. This is literally 3/4 of the way round for Leslie Law. And British supporters cheering him all the way. Large contingent out here in Ireland. As we see Jean-Luc Force now up the steps, the Aircom steps, and coming to the Powers Court waterfall. Very good first rider for France. Jean-Luc has come from the Cadronat, Saumur. Just Beauty Queen and Susan Short at the Ulsterbank Cranogs. Ireland looking for an Olympic qualification, so this would give them a good start. And she's outside the time, I think. This is Susanna Bordoni for Italy, neatly up the steps. This mare is so careful, and she's going the long way round here. This is interesting, quite a long way, and this is where the waterfalls really do come into play, because they could easily catch the horse's eye, and then it's a big fence off, but she jumps it well. And at the last now, Just Beauty Queen for Ireland. You can see the +15, +16. That's seconds over the optimum time of 10 minutes 35. And she goes on to a penalty score at 63.4 at the end of cross-country. Well, this is Cedric Liard, one of the 2 individual riders for France. Fine Mervieux, good dressage of 44. The French have not only done well in the team, but they've got 2 very good individuals. Gives them a chance to shine for the future. Leslie Law, a lot quicker than Susan Short, 35 seconds still to get home, and there's about 350 metres from here. Still clear. That'll put the nightmare of Jerez behind him if he can get home clear and fast for Great Britain. You might remember he had 20 penalties there that were really very unnecessary, but not this time. Great ride from Leslie. Jeremy Lawton's Shearlow could just be inside the time, and that'll be very interesting for the rest of the riders ahead. It's going to be nip and tuck, and he's on the time. Like to say brilliant judgment, but it was a brilliant round. Perhaps to be exactly on the time was just a shade lucky, but a good start for Britain. Susanna Bordoni has gone the long way here at the water, and has gone the really long way. There may be more who do this before the end of the day. I would think it's probably at least 10, if not 15 seconds longer. But she's still clear, and Italy need some good rounds. They need to try and qualify for the Olympics too. Just under a minute to get home, and there is joy from Yogi Breisner. Delighted to get the first rider of Britain home clear with nothing to add to the dressage score. And here's the first rider of France. He's, what, 27 seconds over, is it? 28 seconds over. He goes on to 63.4, and Britain just begin to increase their advantage. But it's early. Well, here's Jeanette Breakwell. Over to you. Normally the Pathfinder rider for Britain, but this time comes as number 2. Perhaps to give her a better chance of individual honours. Enrique Sarasola, Spain, Dupidou, individual bronze medalist, on to the New Grange. That was in Po 2 years ago in the Europeans. Horse that came from Marie-Christine Drouin. Well, this is now Arnaud Boiteau, number 2 for France. This a key round. Jeanette Breakwell out on the course with Over to You. And this young boy's gone well. Many regard this fence as one that's very much in the lap of the... Oh, jumps right out, lands on all 4 feet. But so genuine, straight as a die. Arnaud Boiteau does well to go with him. And France have got 2 round clear jumping. Well, here's a rider for Britain as an individual. Surprise to many, Mary King, King Solomon. Went very well at Badminton to finish 4th. Nearly didn't get here. But this lady has gone all the way round in fine style. She's got time penalties, but jumped clear for Italy. Italy have had one elimination and now one round with 2 gone. Well, Jeanette Breakwell coming to this IFG water complex. There's a very good shot of the waterfall. Lands running. Oh, trips up the step, and that is a horse fall, and they are eliminated. The second rider for Britain is out, and the pendulum swings France's way. Well, Mary King is an individual, so it won't change the British team position, but she incidentally has come down the right-hand side. Oh, and really does well to pick up King Solomon there. Stumbles on landing. Well, here's Enrique Sarasola, the top Spanish rider, actually rode for Spain in the show jumping phase in the Barcelona Olympics. Ooh, and just catches the legs in the ditch, but recovers well. So into the box goes the reigning European champion, double European champion indeed, with Walk On Star. She's in a very good position. But what will Britain's tactics be now? Because they've got one rider out. You've got to have 3 riders round to score. And Pippa, of course, riding at 3 out of 4. Stefano Breccianoli now, and down he goes. The horse doesn't get his undercarriage out. And so that is the second member of the Italian team to be eliminated. And they are out. Walk On Star at Sally Gap. And this horse is not that experienced, but his ears pricked, and he looks as if he's enjoying it. And into the box goes Nicolas Touzin for France. Galan de Sauvagère. Quick check of the watch to make sure it's running. And here is a lovely horse with a great stride. What can they make of this Tommy Brennan cross-country course? Pippa Funnell turning to the Waterford Crystal W. Gets her stride. What this lady's achieved in the last month is quite remarkable. Already, of course, a winner of the Rolex Grand Slam with that magnificent third 4-star at the Master Foods at Burley. Then a double first and third at Blenheim, and here she is a week later on her 4th string. At the Euro, sits back, reaches for it, but's clear. Well, Pippa Funnell out ahead. She won't know how well this boy's going, but at the moment it's certainly good enough. Look at that grim look on Pippa's face. She comes to the River Rock Falls. Oh, lovely jump. Big, bold, that'll give them both confidence as she approaches halfway. Oh, and Nicolas Touzin really attacks the Waterford W and pops it. Well, here's another one who could be in the shake-up. The lady from Greece, Heidi Antokosidis, and Mykonos onto the New Grange. Fences 4 and 5. There's been an odd mistake here. It's quite narrow, that Book of Kells, the fence off. Oh, this is Nicolas Touzin. Terry Touzin, his uncle, trains the French team, and his father was an international rider. He's got a great background for this. Pippa Funnell at the IFG Water. And team tactics have changed. Yogi Breisner has obviously told them to go round. It's too risky now going onto the island. And that's going to be 10 or 15 seconds now. Could Pippa pick those up? She's gone pretty quickly, but I'm not sure she's gone as quickly as Leslie Law. Nicolas Touzin at the steps, double bounce, and the horse full of running. I must say the French team do look very fit indeed. And this sequence of fences have, I think, jumped better than the riders may have thought. There were several thinking of going around at the Land Rover fence that Nicolas is coming to. We've not seen any yet. But here's a horse full of scope, and he's been very boldly ridden. Oh, look at that. Heidi Antokosidis now. Mykonos, he's quite a veteran. Over the double bank, and again, a good exhibition of how that should be done. Pippa Funnell, the Ulster Bank Cranogs, and I think there shows you that the long way round at the IFG Water, the last complex, is a little bit time-consuming, a little peck, but a check on the watch, and this has still been a very good round, and it could bring Britain back into the frame. Britain, remember, only one round because Jeanette Breacle was eliminated at that IFG Water, and so it means that both Pippa and William Fox-Pitt, still to come, must finish for Britain to get a team score. And the clock's ticking away at 0.4 of a penalty for every second you see being clocked up. And she stops the clock. 24 seconds over, 44.4. She goes second, and that might well be good news for Great Britain. We'll have to wait and see. Nicholas Touzan, Coolmore bounce. This horse full of running and really accelerates away from there. This could be very quick. This is a big parallel. The Emirates Sand Dunes, the Emirates who were sponsoring the Endurance Championship held earlier in the week. And here's another French rider going to play bold when Britain's tactics have changed. Will it pay off? Trots in, the horse takes a look, lands well. What a super horse. And straight as a die. Well, I must say, the Nicholas Touzan and the French support here will be pleased with that. Watch it again. The horse looks, sees the waterfall, lands, trots through the water. Nicholas says, go a bit quicker to get over that top, and they do. And that's good reactive cross-country riding. Heidi Antikisidis at the Kirkham's tree across the corner of the bank. Oh, and he does what Stephanie Thompson did, and she fell, but Heidi made there. Well, here is Tina Cook and Captain Christie, already got 20 penalties, sadly. Shot past the Book of Kells coming off the New Grange, and with no responsibilities now, she is going to go straight. I wonder what will happen. Jeanette Breacle, remember, he lands well out. Jeanette Breacle fell here. Oh, and Tina runs past and gets 20 penalties, and she's going to have to come back because there is one element there she's missed. Well, Nicholas Touzan, he's going to be over time as he comes to the last, but it's not going to be very many, and France definitely have the advantage. Nicholas goes into the lead individually, and look at the pleasure on his face at the Tory wheel of the whip. 31 makes him individual leader, and France in a strong position team-wise. Well, bad news for Sweden. They are out of the team reckoning, but this lady might get into the individual with Stand By Me, Linda Algertsen. Well, here is the position so far. France on 153. Britain with 2 riders round, not 3. That's why they've got a very big score at the moment. Down in 4th place, but that all could change when the last riders come onto the course. Well, this is fence 21, the Scarver Well, like so many of them, beautifully decorated. As Stand By Me and Linda Algertsen comes to the Waterford W. They've got a style all of their own, this combination, but they don't have motor. And the same can be said of Heidi Antikisidis and Mikomas. Heidi really saving this horse for next year. She's been so close to several championships, and she's right here again, 6th place, 48.2. There's confirmation. Nicholas Touzan leading, Leslie Law 2nd, Pippa Funnell 3rd, and then Suzanne Bordeni 4th. Well, now it's the big Irish Don't Step Back with Patricia Donegan, the horse that went so well in the Sydney Olympics and again at Badminton. Linda Algertsen this is. Stand By Me, the Swedish individual now at the Coolmore fence. Rather slithers across that bounce, but on a very good dressage score of 37.6. Well, Patricia Donegan and Don't Step Back going pretty slowly. They were well down, the Irish team, after the dressage. In 7th place, they're looking for Olympic qualification. Well, here is Linda Algertsen, Stand By Me. She looks to have gone very quickly. Jon Jonsson have obviously got this combination well focused. Now, is she going to go right round, or is she going on the angle? And she's on the angle and does it very well. They've looked confident every inch of the way. And here is the individual position at the moment. Linda Algertsen got home well to go into the silver medal position. Leslie Law down to bronze. Pippa Funnell just outside the medals at the moment. But it's all very close, as you can see. Well, now the turn of Karen Donkers and Gormley. Been a very impressive horse across country, this, in the past. Belgium have gone pretty well as a team. Carl Buchard has gone well. and as has also Constantine van Brickhoff-Vorsel. Well, here is Don't Step Back, coming close home now. To qualify, Ireland has got to finish in the top 3 teams that aren't all already qualified, and that's Britain and France. So Ireland have actually got to make up ground. Unfortunately, Austin O'Connor and Horseware Fabio unable to complete the course. So what's Patricia Donegan going to do with this great horse? She's going definitely right around. I thought she might go across the island on the angle, but it's right round. She really has played very, very safe all the way with what is regarded as one of the world's best cross-country horses. But it may just mean that they get into an Olympic place. Who knows? Well, it's not Olympic places this man is chasing. It's European gold. William Fox-Pitt, Moon Man, coming to the Burr telescope. And there is one very focused face. Moon Man, being a very consistent horse for William, was third in the Kentucky 4-Star Championship there, as Bettina Hoy is away with Ringwood Cockatoo. Now, Bettina really has probably got 2 objectives. She's got the individual title very much in her sights, won back in 1997 by her, onto the New Grange and off. But Frank Osholt, rider number 3 for Germany, was eliminated, so she has to get round. William Fox-Pitt. Moon Man just coming through the River Rock Falls, approaching halfway, and the horse looking full of running. Meanwhile, Karen Donkers for Belgium now in the last 300 metres of the course. She's quite quick. She's going to get time faults. Still, Leslie Law is the only one to get no time faults on this course. Check of the watch, and she can't get home inside the time. But again, she won't have too many, and she's going to come onto the individual leaderboard. That is for certain. Good round for Belgium. Belgium are going to go into bronze medal position now. And Karen Donkers, well, she is going to go 3rd. What a performance. Belgium never won an individual medal. Well, there is a sight which will bring gloom to the German eyes, because that, I'm sure, is a refusal for Bettina Hoy at the Burr telescope. And I think, with the way she uses her whip there, confirms that she's got 20 penalties for a refusal. William Fox-Pitt clear down to the Land Rover Challenge with Moon Man. Oh, and the horse very nearly doesn't get his undercarriage down. William stayed there quite brilliantly. Well, look at it again. He comes in, sees his shot in the end, jumps well out, up into the air actually, just doesn't lock up. Off comes the overreach boot, and William stuck like a limpet. Well, here is the last rider for France, the world champion, Jean Tulleur, on this lovely 8-year-old Hobby du May. Didn't get the best of dressage scores, but he is a lovely type of horse. The horse that he won the world title on, Espoir de la Mer, was sidelined earlier in the season, but it's back in work and competing. So it'll be very interesting to see it, whether he's got 2 horses that he might have a go at the Olympic Games at next year. Away they go, the last French team member. And here is William Fox-Pitt, the last of the British now, coming to the Coolmore Pounce. Moon Man. Now, what have been the instructions to William Fox-Pitt from team manager Yogi Breisner? And it's to go round. Will it be right round? The team tactics last year were felt to be part of the reason why Britain only won bronze. And this time they're playing safe. They're going all the way round. So here's another 10-15 seconds added. But if Britain can jump round clear, they'll certainly be in contention. But it'll just depend on how many fences they have between France and them. This long, tall man crouches down and drives for home. Meanwhile, Jean Tulleur, one of the senior statesmen in the sport, pops this 8-year-old neatly over the Burr telescope at 6. William Fox-Pitt is already over the time. You can see his time penalties now beginning to clock up. But this is the last, and Britain have 3 rounds, and that's what matters. And I think it's going to give them a team score, which will put them at the top of the leaderboard. But it has to be said that both Pippa and William have sacrificed individual honours for their team. Well, another cool, calm round from William Fox-Pitt. What about the last to go for France? A quite brilliant performance in Jerez gave him that world title. So experienced and riding with much more confidence these days. This looks a very classy number of what we've seen. Pops on, pops off, neat as a cat. Bettina Hoy, she will be so disappointed to have had that rather silly refusal, and she'll see it as that, I'm quite sure. There's been no other trouble at that fence. But the horse has got to be 100% genuine. And one wonders just whether this horse will give it all when it really matters. Well, almost round the corner on 3 wheels goes Hoppy Dumay and Jean Tuleur. One loves the attitude of this combination. They really look as if they're enjoying themselves. Coming now up the steps. Totally unfazed, very much within himself, this young horse. And I think we'll find it's not that slow either. Had a 55.4 penalties in the dressage. Sean felt the horse did as well as he could at this stage of his career. But this competition, a 3-day event, is still all about cross-country riding. Oh, and just a semblance of a peck. Bettina Hoy at the last, 1:17 over. So she does get a German team score, and that's important, but she will drop out of contention in the individual competition. So a frustration again for Bettina. Well, Jean Tuleur, 1:44 to get home, and one gets the feeling that Jean is not putting the pressure on this horse at this stage of the course, but still moving very easily within himself, ears pricked, and again a sight of enjoyment, I feel. Now the French have pretty well gone all straight down the middle, and Jean Tuleur is going to do the same, and they've really shown everybody else how to do it, one has to say. Again, rather landing on all 4 feet, takes off. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And Jean doesn't hinder the horse anyway, although it wasn't totally conventional. Look again, as we look down the gun barrel, as it were. The horse jumps right, almost offline. Jean corrects it, and the horse says, I know what I'm doing. And for an 8-year-old, that's an impressive display. Jean Tuleur would seem to have 2 horses he could pick to ride next year as he goes through the Scarver well. 40 seconds under to get home. And he won't make it. There's only going to be Leslie Law inside the time. This is the last combination on the course now. And they come to the Glendalough Round Tower to complete the course. And France have put on a very good show this afternoon. They're close up behind the British team. And Nicolas Touzan, of course, leads the individual.
Yes, he's extended his lead at the top of the leaderboard from Linda Algertson, Karen Donkers, Leslie Law and Pippa Funnell, the reigning champion, with ground to make up in 5th. But the other riders from 6 to 10 all have chances of individual medals. In the team competition, Great Britain's lead had extended slightly, and they now had 4 show jumps in hand over the French, with 4 penalties for a refusal or knockdown. But the star of the day was Nicolas Touzan, and veteran French journalist Xavier Librecht was not surprised by his success.
Very easy, steady for a young man of 23 years old. I think he showed a great feeling, and I think he has a great future. It's the first time we have a guy leading since the dressage. It's the first time we had the first pole position in dressage. We keep it after the endurance test, and we just cross our finger for the jumping, you know.
Well, Brian Henry's course didn't appear to be overly taxing, but for France there was no room for error, and one fence down for both Jean-Luc Force and Jean Toulaire was not what the French manager François Saint-André wanted. And Britain now had 6 fences in hand when Arnaud Boiteau and Expo de Moulin came in. They had to jump it clear to give France any hope of gold. Mike Tucker now takes you through the exciting climax.
Well, a full house, and the Punchestown all-weather arena really does set the scene for this final phase. It's all pressure from now on. Arnaud Boiteau, who was in 13th place overnight after the cross-country. The French horses looked absolutely superb at the final horse inspection. But a clear round now would steady the boat for France. Remember, they've had 2 fences down of the first 2 riders, 1 each. But all the 3 British riders are still to come. So Britain are out in the wings. They'll know what they've got to do as he comes down to the combination that's caused most of the errors, and now swings for the last 3 fences, an upright, then to an oxer with a water ditch underneath, an imitation water ditch, and then finally to the planks. And amazingly, there's hardly been any trouble at the planks. And there isn't for Arnaud Boiteau. It's a good clear round. He's safely inside the time. Time allowed is 80 seconds. So 3 riders for Britain to come. Here's the first, William Fox Pitt, Moon Man. William has been pretty consistent on the final day. Ooh, he rattles that pretty hard, and he looks pretty casual, one has to say, Moon Man. And he has it. It is a totally different matter to jump on the 3rd day of a 3-day event to a normal show jumping, and that's gone too. So that's 8 to add, and now Britain are down to 4 fences in hand over the French. But if there's anyone going to keep their nerve, that's confirmation that the second one went down. This is the last fence. And 8 faults it is. William Fox Pitt's got 56
so within the time,
as his final score. Mary King with King Solomon has that 1 fence down. She was possibly within reach of an individual medal, but that, I think, is going to go out of the window. 1 fence could be 1 too many because they're all so close here. There's 5 of them, all within a fence, all within reach of the bronze medal. Over the last, so Mary finishes on 49.4, and she goes ahead of William Fox Pitt. Susanna Bordoni with 2 fences down, and now a 3rd, so it's 12 to add. She's going to drop down and out of contention. And Italy do not qualify for the Olympics as a team.
So, okay, for time, they've got 3 fences down, 12 to add.
Well, a big crowd, and we come to the climax now, because Pippa Funnell has to steady the ship for Britain. William Fox Pitt with 2 down, and Leslie Law to follow Pippa. Now, she won the Rolex Grand Slam with a clear round with Primor's Pride. And then a week ago, she won the Pet Plant Blenheim event with another fine show jumping performance. Can she put Britain back on track now for a European team gold and conceivably win an individual medal herself? The reigning European champion at work here on her 4th string. This is really the phase that has, I think, shown the biggest improvement this year. Her mental strength on this 3rd phase has been something to behold when the pressure's really been on. Neatly through there. He's only a young horse, certainly inexperienced, but he's responded so well here. Could give her another fine string to her bow. Pippa, remember, in 5th place, 44.4. And 4 still to come. One left. This could give her individual bronze, and who knows what could happen thereon. Fine performance again, typical of what Pippa has achieved in the last month or so, and Britain could be back on track for a team gold here. That means there are still 4 fences in hand over the French, with Nicolas Touzin, the last rider to come. This is where she comes to the final set of planks, sets it up, again a lovely shot, and up go the hands. And a fine applause for Pippa Funnell. So she goes out, and in comes Leslie Law. Brilliant performance as Pathfinder across country yesterday. And one has to say, normally this is his strong phase. Never won an individual medal. And he is already dropped 1 fence behind Pippa. Britain down to 3 fences too, and that fell pretty early. He really has now got to pull himself together. There are the team watching. Yogi Breisner and Kenneth Clausen very good in preparing these horses for this. 1 left. Britain can't be beaten now if he jumps this, and Britain have got gold. Pip jumps down, jumping for joy, and Leslie Law, he's secured gold for Britain, but he'll be very disappointed that his chance of winning individual now looks slim. But what about Karen Donkers? Karen Donkers looking to get team bronze for Belgium. That's still possible, but in fact her individual medal now not looking so secure. She was in 3rd place, but Pippa's come up 1. Karen's gone down. The reigning European champions in bronze medal place. And Karen has gone down again. Karen Donkers for Belgium has now gone on to 50.4, and that puts her below Mary King as well. So 2 to go, Linda Oggerson and Nicolas Touzin, and the order is changing, but will it change anymore? Karen Donkers dropping down the order behind Mary King, as in comes Linda Oggerson for Sweden. Sweden as a nation have won several gold medals. They won the Europeans in Frauenfeld back in the 80s, and then in 1991 in Axelswang they won the gold medal again. And Paula Tornquist an individual medal in the Worlds in Rome in 1998. But it's been a bit thin for Sweden since. Now, can Linda Oggerson put that right? She's going well. This is one of her strengths. Every rider has strengths and weaknesses in these 3 phases, but this is probably her strongest phase. And with Jon Jonsson, a trainer behind her, and a little bit of vocal help too, she's doing the business. Remember, she's 9.8 penalties behind Nicolas Touzin. That equates to Nicolas having 2 fences down and still winning, and not 3. The last, and she flies it. Easy peasy for Linda Albertson. She's going to win silver. Now who's going to win gold? Nicolas Touzin's got to keep his nerve. Well, the crowd are right behind this young man, and so far he's done absolutely nothing wrong. Brilliant dressage. So impressive yesterday. Now, can he finish it in style? He would be one of the youngest ever European champions. There's a very happy Linda Algerson outside. Now, will she listen? Will she watch? Or will she just wait for the noise? Because there will be some every time a fence goes down. Oh! And that's early. Now, will he keep his nerve? Oh, the horse really picked up and ballooned that behind. For a horse on the third day, he's still keeping a lovely shape over a fence. He's rounding. And look how he's using his hindquarters, really throwing them away. It's pretty unusual. And this horse and rider are getting stronger and stronger the further they go. One fence down, he can have another and still win, but he couldn't have two. And that's that combination out of the way. Turns for home, 3 left. Oh, just the planks. He's so close now to France's first European individual champion. And the pictures tell the story. France have won individual gold. And what style for this young man.
Yes, emotional scenes from the French management. They now had a European champion on top of the world champion Jean Toulaire last year in Jerez. So the sport of eventing had seen the emergence of a new star, Nicolas Touzin, and his brilliant 9-year-old Galin de Sauvagère. And in the team, Great Britain once again retained their title, but were pushed all the way by the French. It was smiles all round on the medal podium, and Waterford crystal glass trophies for the victors. From Mike Tucker and myself, thank you for watching, and goodbye.